have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's gonna do to him? Run him out of the ring.
Oscar De La Hoya's reversal has generated much discussion just months before one of the most significant altercations in recent memory. History of Boxing. In a recent interview, Crawford has criticized De La Hoya's prediction, guaranteeing his straightforward victory. But De La Hoya acknowledged that even though he had picked Crawford to defeat Canelo, he now saw it as an unlikely scenario.
Canelo, and he fights at 168 plus, so I don't see me and him fighting. So,
what's the highest you could fight at realistically?
I would say 154 realistic.
154.
You know,
So
them boys get big up there. Them boys get big up there. And I'm not a person to, toot my own horn too.
Supporting Terence Crawford, De La Hoya at first was convinced that Crawford would prevail, even going so far as to say that Crawford would defeat Canelo at any moment. De La Hoya saw Crawford as a naturally large athlete who could compete at 168 pounds if he so desired, rather than a small boxer making the transition. This was a vote of faith in Crawford's ring IQ, flexibility, and strength. The boxing adage that a good large man defeats a good little man was also echoed in this instance, although De La Hoya contended that Crawford was no tiny man in a stunning reversal. De La Hoya currently maintains that Canelo is the better opponent, downplaying Crawford's threat and referring to it as nearly a no contest.
The main cards, it will be 4 fights. And we will have Canelo Crawford and the co-main event and 2 fights. One of them is Gerald and Miller, if we finish it. Then there is another card start earlier for free for everywhere. We are thinking to put around from 6 to 10 fights for talent.
Terence not content to let the U-turn go unchecked, Crawford responded calmly but pointedly, pointing out De La Hoya's contradictions. One minute he says this about Canelo. The next minute he adds that he pointed out that the September 13th fight itself is not just a super fight in terms of names or titles. It has historic ramifications. If Crawford defeats Canelo and wins a 3rd weight title, it will be the first time in men's boxing history. Not even the great Sugar Ray Leonard, although some people already believe that Crawford's legacy is solid. A victory over Canelo would elevate him to a level that very few fighters ever achieve. Nevertheless, despite the recognition and technical prowess he has displayed across weight classes, there is still skepticism, particularly regarding his resume.
I'm all about making history. I was the first 2-time undisputed champion of the world. I can assure you, first 3-time undisputed champion.
Eddie Hearn brought up this same issue. Hearn praised Crawford's greatness, but bemoaned the fact that Bud hadn't faced the greats in their heyday. Hearn said this wasn't so much a criticism as it was a commentary on the boxing industry's failure to produce Crawford's big names during their prime. Crawford's most notable victories, like as is over Ricky Burns, are insignificant when compared to the names and resumes connected to Canelo Alvarez. Even Crawford's resounding wins against opponents like Kell Brook, there are warnings about Errol Spence Jr. and Amir Khan. When Brook and Khan fought Crawford, many people saw them as diminished versions of themselves. Spence, in particular, had doubts after the car accident and the protracted rest that followed his fight with Crawford.